Now then, Tigers, how we doing? I hope we're all doing well. Hull City are now winless in 3 after, I can't even explain, a 2-1 loss to Sheffield United in a game where I do think we could have won. I think we should have won if we weren't down to 10 men. And it just happened to be the former Sheffield United player that got sent off. John Lundstrom, who made 2 ridiculous challenges, in my opinion, to get both bookings. I mean, in all fairness to the second yellow card he got, the referee was in his way, but he still shouldn't have gone for that sliding challenge. I don't know what he was thinking. And speaking of the referee, he was a 12th man for Sheffield United. For some reason, he wasn't named in their starting lineup. I'm not really sure as to why. EFL referees, in my opinion, are getting worse. And I'm not just going to say it because of this game. I said about the Coventry game in the second half. Terrible with their decision making. They literally kind of just take control of the game and just don't let it flow. Now, this match did start off well, inside 5 minutes. Ollie McBurney ended his goal drought with a great finish with his left foot at the near post. Well set up, though, by Liam Miller, who got a great assist. I'm glad he's got a goal involvement. I do think we could have made it 2-0 or 3-0 after the first half. I mean, there was one chance where McBurney had an overhead kick, which came so close to actually crossing the line. Goal line technology had to confirm if the ball was over the line or not. But no, someone was literally in the goal waiting for McBurney to go for a bicey, and luckily headed it off the line. So yeah, up until the 75th minute where Lundstrom got himself a red card, I really did think we were going to bag 3 points in this game. But then when Lundstrom did get sent off, I thought, you know what? Usually when teams get red cards, they don't often keep a win. So I don't mind a draw. We did concede a penalty, which I thought was harsh. I don't know if it was something to do with Louis Coyle being like grabbing a player, but it was so hard to see, in my opinion. I don't understand how the referee had given it, to be honest. But anyway, they scored the penalty. Harmer was the one who scored it. And then 3 minutes later, after they equalised, Danny Ings, out of everyone, was the hero to make it 2-1 to Sheffield United. A cross which I think we could have prevented or done a bit better in terms of defensively. He scores. Pando, maybe he could have saved it, but really, he's not the one to blame in that situation. And yeah, we dropped points, losing 2-1. And I was right with the scoreline, because I did think it'd be 2-1. But to Hull City, what a shame that was. And I'll tell you something else. We are lucky that Southampton did manage to pull off a 2-1 win against Derby County. Very similar fashion to how Sheffield United turned the game around from 1-0 down to win 2-1. At the time of recording, it is a Saturday evening. So the Wrexham and Birmingham game hasn't been played yet. And by the time this does get released, the game's probably already been played or it's in the midst of being played. And fingers crossed, Birmingham, who we do play next week, make Wrexham drop points in some way. Because in all honesty, I'm absolutely frustrated how we've come out losing that game against a team who are out of form. And I don't think really should have won the game until we had 10 men. Player ratings, starting off with Ivo Pando. Made a few saves. He was key in this game, of course. But it's just one of them really where conceding 2 goals in quick succession, it obviously doesn't look good on him. It's more on the defence really. But I'm just going to give him a 6 straight up. I think it's one of them really where maybe it does seem quite harsh. I could maybe give him a 6.5, but I just think some of his distribution wasn't too bad, but compared to Coventry, it wasn't as good. Right back was Cody Dramé for 20 minutes until he got taken off the pitch due to an injury. I don't know how serious it is. It doesn't look too serious. I think Sergei doesn't want to risk any players that potentially take a knock and then are out for the long term. He puts on Paddy McNair, who I'm going to give the rating 2. And to be fair with McNair, he came on the pitch, sort of did alright to be fair. There wasn't anything he did wrong. I think it was just more defensively, he was more focused because we were 1-0 up at the time rather than going on the attack. I think he was just a bit aware that he didn't want us to concede. Fair enough to him. I am going to give him a 6.5. I think really in that situation, you don't expect to go on in the 20th minute. And I think maybe for the second goal, I don't really know who's to blame for the second goal. Maybe you could blame, I can't remember if it was McNair or Coyle on that side. It was either one of them two or Ajay that were marking Danny Ings. Could have done something about it, but I'm just going to give McNair a 6.5. Didn't do bad when he came on the pitch. Semi Ajay, compared to the Coventry game, I think he really could have done better. I think he did struggle on an occasion, especially with the likes of Bamford and Gustavo Harmer and O'Hare at a touch sometimes. I think he wasn't as solid as he was against Coventry. Again, is he the one where he's responsible for that second goal? I'm not too sure. Am I going to criticise him about it? Not really. I think it just didn't help how we went down to 10 men. I think that's the only reason really why we did lose that match. Ajay, I'm just going to give as, we'll go with a 6.5. John Egan, I think probably the best out of the lot in terms of defence. I think he was rather solid. Was doing well in terms of tackling, trying to clear the ball away if he could. There's nothing much I can really say about him. He did well against his former club. I was a bit worried he was going to be similar to Lundstrom, where he can have a good game, but then somehow gift Sheffield United a chance just because it'd be typical City. And we were typical City in this game. I'm going to go with a 6.5 to John Egan as well. I was going to push it 7, but the way how we conceded 2 goals within 3 minutes, it's just frustrating. I'm really frustrated with it, but I'm just going to have to take it like a man and carry on. Louis Coyle, decent game he had. Decent game. Wasn't too bad, to be fair. Can't say I expected a lot from him compared to the Coventry game, but I was hoping there would be a bit of an improvement into dealing with whoever was going to be down that right-hand side. And he didn't do a bad job, in all fairness to him. It's just that thing where the referee was too harsh to give a penalty, where Coyle's obviously going to, he's going to have his hands on the player, but the player's obviously going to have his hands on him. That's why I would say both players did go down. I'm just going to give Louis Coyle a 6.5. I just simply think that maybe, alright, if he didn't have his hands on his player, or just, I guess maybe he didn't try and pull his shirt. I don't know what he did for that penalty, to be honest. It's so hard to tell what actually happened. But yeah, Louis Coyle, I'm going to give you a 6.5. Moving on to the midfield, we'll start off with Amir Hatzimetovic. Compared to other games, wasn't his best. I think he really could have done better in this match. On the ball, wasn't as great as I would have liked to have seen. Was quite disappointing in some ways. However, nonetheless, I still think he wasn't that bad. I'm going to give him a 6. That may seem harsh, but I'm just going to roll with it. I'm not going to give my reasonings for any of these because, I just want this video to be over and done with. I'm frustrated at this Sheffield United loss. I could scream off the top of my lungs right now thinking how we've not walked away with a win and how the referee was such a Sheffield United merchant. But I'm going to stay calm. I'm not going to lose my head. I'm just going to give Amir Hatzimetovic a 6 and I'm going to give John Lundstrom a 5 due to his decision makings for the flipping challenges he made, which got him sent off, basically. He didn't actually have that much of a bad game, did Lunny, to be fair. I just think, it's just one of them. Some players that go in for challenges which they don't really need to, especially sliding challenges. Like, I've seen it quite a few times with maybe Charlie Hughes or John Egan. Like, while they can be successful, sometimes they do it when they don't really need to. They could literally just, stay on the player and not bother diving in. Right wing was Mo Balumi. Had a pretty good game. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he was pretty good. He really caused problems down that right-hand side, as he always does. It's always a pleasure to watch Mo Balumi. I'll be interested to see if he will start the next game, because I think it could be likely, but again, it's just going to be one of them always where Balumi's never going to last 90 minutes for the rest of this season, due to the amount of injuries he's constantly had. Tree, I think, in my opinion, definitely had a better performance compared to Coventry. Definitely showed a lot more creativity going forward. And to be fair, he was doing quite well to track back in some chances, especially when we did go down to 10 men. He kind of just had to drop back, really, and cover as more of a centre mid rather than a cam. I don't really have much to say about Crooks. I just think he had a proper decent game. I'm just going to give him a 7. Liam Miller, the man who did get the assist for the goal which broke the deadlock. In general, I did think he had a great game. Just actually did cause a lot of problems down that left-hand side. The assist itself was very good. Intercepted the ball, dribbled forward, timed his pass right to find McBurney. I was thinking maybe he was going to go himself and shoot, but he was unselfish because Liam Miller isn't always a selfish player. He doesn't always want to shoot. He always wants to find that key pass which can lead on to the goal. I'm so annoyed I can't even speak properly. I'm going to give Liam Miller a 7.5. I think that's rather deserved. I think he was good in this game. A bit like Balloon, he did cause problems down that left-hand side, but with him getting a goal involvement in this match, I feel like you have to give him one step up for a rating. And then up front, Ollie McBurney, I think he had a great game, to be honest. Much better compared to, well, his previous matches. Actually had chances, actually had shots. The defence for Sheffield United, I think, did struggle a bit in the first half. The finish was great to get his goal, end his goal drought, as I said before. Thank God, I'm hoping he can now go on a bit of a goal-scoring run, so we can maybe try and win a match, since that's what we're struggling to do ever since coming back from international duties. As I said before, he came close to that Bicey goal. I just wish that went in, because if it was 2-0, this game could have been very different. So yeah, I'm just going to give Ollie McBurney a 7.5. As for the subs, as I said before, we've had Paddy McNair that came on the pitch, who I've already rated, so I don't need to discuss more about him. Charlie Hughes, Kieran Dowell and Joe Gelhardt all came on the pitch. I think Gelhardt was pretty good when he came on. Oh, sorry, Carl Joseph came on the pitch as well. Rest of the players, when they came on, could have been better in my opinion. I think they didn't show enough of an impact, but it's the same thing I'm going to keep on saying. When you're down to 10 men, you can't really focus much on your own role of maybe sometimes going on the attack, especially when you have the likes of Carl Joseph, who obviously wants to go forward but knows he has to track back quickly if Hull do go on a counter-attack, and that gets completely broken, the ball gets stolen, and then Sheffield United go on the attack. You just have to quickly track back and hope for the best that they don't create a big chance, or someone that's left unmarked down their left-hand side or your right-hand side, you're there to cover instantly, so that way we're not going to concede a goal. Overall, I'm going to give the subs just a 6.5. I think Gelhardt did well when he came on. I think Hughes was just trying to be solid. Can't really blame much of the subs, to be fair. It's not really on them, to be honest. It's just a shame when you go down to 10 men. You just become so weak. It's a big disadvantage, and you kind of think to yourself, well, it can't be that bad when it's only one man. It's been the story of the Championship through not just Hull City games, mainly because, well, we've only had 2 red cards, but there have been other teams we've played that have picked up reds. But just in general in the Championship, when you get a red card, it is such a small possibility you're going to win the match, whether you're winning or not. Now in the table, we've dropped to 6th place. Southampton getting their win, of course. They've overtaken us. We are 5 points away from Derby County, who are in 8th. Not too bad. But, as I said before, with the Wrexham versus Birmingham game happening tomorrow, Wrexham are 4 points away. They pick up a win. They're 1 point below us. And the pressure's more on us than it is on them. Maybe they do have the harder fixtures. But we've been typical City. And we need to stop that. And speaking of our next game, which is against Birmingham City, we need to redeem ourselves. We need to redeem ourselves. We need a win. We need a win. The draw against Coventry was good. I kind of accepted the draw against Oxford. A draw, I wouldn't have even minded to us against Sheffield United in this game. But, there's so many times now where you see it through previous seasons. Draws are just not enough when you're coming towards the final stage of the season, especially when it comes to the Championship. In any battle, whether it's promotion, playoffs, relegation, you have to be picking up 3 points. And in this game against Birmingham next week, we need 3 points on board. And they're out of form as well. I think they've lost their last 3 matches, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 4 if Wrexham do beat them. It might change if they do get something against Wrexham. I don't know whether I want to look forward to the match or not. I think we actually did play well against Sheffield United. It's just a shame that it just all went downhill through that last 15 minutes. Let me know what you thought of the game. I think a lot of people will be annoyed, mainly at the referee. I completely understand, I completely agree, and I'm with you, of course, Hull City fans. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video.